Hey, this is a video on how to replace your TCM on a Mazda 5 or a 3 2.3 liter. Mine's a 2009 model. The first thing I did was remove that vent or that cooling duct towards the battery. I removed this cover from the main computer control. Just unclip it from the bottom. It's got these little clips. I think it goes on like this. Just remove it out of there. These particular things you have to push right on there when the white handle is down. Push there, and then you can move this white handle up. And they come out pretty easy. Be very careful because you got all that sensitive wiring. Then I removed the Maf Sensor, the connector to it. Remove the Maf Sensor connector. Move this hose. Just pull it out. Undo these screws. Actually, you don't need to do just this one right here, the one that's connected to the throttle body. This hose down here clicks in. Just unclick it. And what else? The air box has these clips. Undo that. There's one there, one back here, one there, one here. On the battery box or cover, the top just comes off. This one panel right here, it just kind of undoes itself from each corner. And then these wires, you don't have to remove them, just leave them on there. Once you remove the air box, the battery will chill out nice and neat, and then this covered well. So let me see here, I got everything off, got the sensor off, these clips. Let me just move it out of here. So you take the air box out of the throttle body, just bring it out, set it aside. Okay. So it looks like in this you have a lot of wiggle room in order to bring the battery out. Obviously disconnect your battery before you disconnect your computer modules. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause the video. Alright, so I took out the battery, and first though you're going to need a 10mm deep socket like this guy. It's pretty basic. Bought this at a regular store. Anyways, took out the battery secure harness, whatever, 10mm, and you have 3 bolts, one there, or nuts, 2, and 1 inside this hole here. Going to remove those, and we're going to come back real quick. Okay, I removed those screws inside, or these bolts. I mean, I don't keep calling them screws. So there was 3 of them. The wire harness to the computer module, it just goes into these little slots. Just move them out. And then this plastic cover, like I was talking to you earlier, you can remove it or you don't have to. Just kind of get it out of there. Remember how this stuff went. Anyways, I'm just going to tilt it over so I can remove this battery box. There is a hose, which is the brake fluid reservoir that runs in the back, and is attached to this box. You just gently push it away from it. And I'm going to zoom out, try to wiggle it. I usually put those on the side. If I can remember, that's it. This thing's ready to come out. So it does this. This is how I took it out last time. This part of the box comes up, and the back part tilts out, so it's like that, right? And you pull it out. I'm gonna pause it so I can get it out. Wanted to point something out. At the bottom of this, you have the positive terminal to the battery, and this guy has a clip down there that goes into the box, which is, let me show you real quick, right there. See, I just yanked it off and it was fine, but it's one of those clips. So the way I took this piece off, see those holes? That's where these little clips go. Just pinch them like that, and they come out, and this thing comes out way easier. So now, let's see if I can wiggle it out. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. There it is. Alright, it's going to come out. Just wiggle it out. Just wiggle it out. I'm going to pause it because I don't want to mess anything up. Alright, got that thing out of there. Let's give you an idea of what it looks like. See, this is the brake line hose from the reservoir, or the reservoir hose that was attached to that box. So, normally your TCM or your transmission module is under this bracket. You don't need to take all these, you don't need to take this nut off. All you got to do is remove these two nuts right here. I believe they're 17 mils. Remove this guy and you have access to your TCM, which is under there. Sometimes this sensor fails, which is the speed sensor, tranny speed sensor. So there's a few bucks online, and it's just one screw. Take it out, slap it back in, and you're done. So I'm going to remove these two nuts. And I gotta remove this balance support, just one giant ball of metal. But look, that's my old TCM. That's my wire harness going into the old one that's acting up really bad. And these are the brake lines. And manufacturer suggests when you get your new one, that's where you attach it to. So I just got some real nice zip ties, some black ones. Put them through the little holes of the TCM. And I just zip tied to it. I've been driving in rain and in dirt, and it does not get dirty or wet. So I'm going to take it out and I'll put my new one in, and I'll show you what the old one looks like. Alright guys, look. The old one's on my left, new one's on the right. I paid $410 for the new one. At a place called Mazda Swag on eBay, I think. I don't know where I found it. It's a Mazda dealership. Anyways, that's the new part number. Notice the letter on the end, it's an E. Everything else is the same crap. Looks all nice and clean and fresh. That goopy stuff that goes on the motherboard. The old one I tried to repair, and the part number on that guy, it's a C. I guess a little older. And I actually removed all that crap at the bottom. Let's see if I can. I removed all this junk. It's the same goopy stuff, but it was so old. And I think this motherboard is facing the transmission, and it's so cramped in this little area where it was bolted on that it might have messed up the motherboard and fried it. Just like the old Nintendos back then when they got overheated, you know, you had to blow on it and get it going again. I think that's what happens to these. So the manufacturer suggests hanging it. And I'll show you where I'm going to hang it. I already did, but let me use the old one. I don't want to mess with the new one. So I removed it from under here. It was like that. And the suggestion was hang it on these lines, these brake lines. So grab some zip ties, whatever you want to do, connect it to your connector, and what I did was I hanged it like that. Just some zip ties, nice and neat. It didn't get any wet and it's away from the tranny heat and all that. It still gets heat, but not as bad. I think that's what did it. It just fried it, and it's under here. And all you got to do is remove this nut, that other nut, 17 mil, and just this comes off. You don't take out this whole transmission mount support. You don't. It's just these two. This sucker pops up, and you can actually see the unit sitting like that. It's like that under there, under this thing, and under that. And then you can stick your hands in there, and you feel this bolt, feel that bolt, and you are gonna need a little ratchet, 10 millimeter, not a deep socket, one deep socket and one little short 10 mil. And then when you go under there, you're gonna stick it in and just ratchet out the nut. And same thing with this one. And this one with the little funny loop is kind of under here somewhere. Well, you stick your hand under and you find it and then do it. Before you do that, see this guy? I don't know if you can, right there. That connector, it has a nut and a screw. That one goes actually here. Since I'm not mounting it back originally, I'm going to mount it back there. I'm not going to put it back in there obviously, but I'm just pointing out that this is the guy that would come out. That belongs to this. This guy is somewhere over here, and then this dude is somewhere over there. It's not hard. Your hands can fit under easy. When you stick your head around here and you look under, you'll see it. But you got to remove just these two, and they are torqued really bad. So you really got to muscle them out. This will come out. If you want to put in the original, by all means do it. I don't know. And it just goes in there like that, and it kind of sits. You can see it now. It kind of sits in there and wiggling. But once it's gone, it's easier. I'm gonna opt out for this version where I just hang it like that, like so. Do it at your own risk. I'm not responsible if it messes up. I've been driving with this old one for a little bit, since it is messing up with my, it revs up bad, going into third. Sometimes it doesn't catch reverse. It's just a pain in the butt. And just to let you know, my new one was $410 with shipping. Took a few days. You can get these refurbished, I guess. I opted out to not get it refurbished because I didn't know if mine would not have been accepted as a refurbished, since I took out the back goopy part that protects the motherboard. I thought I would remove it. It would give it a lot less insulation and heat of heat, I guess, not cold but heat, and therefore operate better. It did for a little bit, and it just conked out. So I've said to myself, why buy the reprogram, because I already messed with it. But if you haven't messed with the back, I will go, because it's only like $2.99 or less. You send yours, 24 hours you get it back or so, plug it in and you're good. I opted for the new one, which is $400. I found it in Florida of all places. It was cheaper than everybody else. Everybody else wanted $600. I got it for $400 plus shipping at Mazda Swag, but it was actually somewhere out there. Anyways, I'm gonna hang my unit and I'll take a little video of it, and that should be it. Okay, that's how I decided to hang my new one. Focus. I still gotta put some zip ties on the other side. It's pretty stable. It doesn't touch anything weird or anything. That's what I'm gonna go for, because this cost me $400 and I do not want to replace it again. My car only has 74,000 miles and it's ridiculous. Anyways, that's what it looks like. Zoom out a bit. Oh, out. Okay. So there you go. Mine's a 2009 Mazda 5 with the 2.3 liter 5-speed transmission. I love my car, but it has so many glitches. I had to do so many upgrades because the original factory is just crappy. It does not work. That's one of them. And yes, I did replace my transmission speed sensor. It's right there. That one's easier to take out. Anyways, that's it. So when you want to put it back together, just in reverse, just remember that these have these clips, and they tend to go under this plastic cover. Right there, it has those little slots where those wires go. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hard time putting them back together. But everything's just pretty much easy. So these right here, see that little nipple? Or hang on, let it focus real quick. Right there, that's what you want to take out. Try not to mess with it because this is delicate. I hope it helps, and I'm sure it'll run better.